Hello, I'm Eden Flaherty from Global Landscapes Forum, and I'm here with Pascal Fabie, the Senior Advisor for Learning and Impact at the United Nations Development Programme. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you. Hello.
So you are leading the Food and Agricultural Commodities Systems Community of Practice, the FACS Community of Practice. Could you tell us what this is about and your role within it and what you hope to achieve with it?
The FACS community, FACS for Food, Agriculture, Commodity System community, is basically a community of practice that bring experts and practitioners working on food system transformation and agriculture in a space where they learn, they collaborate, they use resources that we make available for them. So that's what it is. What it's trying to achieve is to bring the best of knowledge from one corner of the world to the other corner of the world. And it's to foster knowledge exchanges, but also best practice. And if you want, ensure the continuity of the learning process, and I think that's quite critical.
And why, for you, is the learning process so important for more sustainable agricultural systems?
Yeah, I mean, there are two dimensions to that answer. The first dimension is the practitioners and change makers who are members of this community have been developing their skills, understanding and expertise over a number of years, over a number of projects. They started before the GEF 6 cycle of funded of the Good Growth Partnership started. They continued with the Good Growth Partnership. They are now in the Food and Land Use Restoration program. So there need to be a space that is agnostic to specific program where those members and knowledge can continue. And beyond the follow of today, that's what we are trying. We are creating a space for change makers and practitioners where they will continue learning and they will continue bringing their knowledge to other projects. So that's one thing that is important. The second aspect is that there's so much expertise, there's so much experience that is gained through landscape level project, country level project, regional project, and all of that never reaches all its beneficiaries, people doing the same, reinventing the wheel out there. So this is the fundamental of this community of practice, really. It's to ensure durability and to ensure connectivity.
And this community of practice is based around a digital learning platform.
Yeah.
Does this offer any substantial benefits, and also, by the same note, any kind of unique challenges compared to more traditional learning methods, let's say?
Yes, I mean, the community is about 14 years old. It wasn't always hosted into a state-of-the-art digital platform. We did that about 2 or 3 years ago, right? And the value of that is that when you run a FOLUR project with 27 country projects from Ecuador to Papua New Guinea across 12 time zones, with people joining, living over a long period of time, there is absolutely no way you can disseminate this knowledge and keep a history of learning and conversation through the traditional methods of sending PDF document and emails. So you need to have a collaborative learning space where the history of the project and what happens with it is captured, and that can work asynchronously as well as synchronously for people in their own time. Some people work in the taxi, in the traffic jams, on their smartphone. Well, that's where they should be able to learn and engage with it. So the platform is important in that sense, right? It does that. And the second thing is that you can create groupings. So the FACS community has a dedicated group to the FOLUR country projects, which we've just launched in the event today, which has 100 members sign up in the last 2 days. That's great, but it's also servicing other projects by other organizations that works in the same food system transformation space. That's really the key points.
Yeah. And just to come back, are there any specific challenges?
Yes, there are challenges.
Yeah.
I think there are challenges that some are not specific to the digital platform, and some are. The non-specific is when push comes to shove under work pressure and stress, the first thing that drops is the attention you pay to learning and personal and professional development. That's the common mistakes organizations that are not true learning organizations make. So that's the first thing. The specific challenge to the digital world is that it actually challenges well-established habits of people to work in a certain way. You need to move into that space. That is, it looks like a Facebook environment, right? So you need to be comfortable and want to invest a minimum of time to understand that. You need to be able to work across multiple channels, like we all do now, right? So that's the challenge. If you believe that you can engage your partners, your collaborators, your stakeholders through email only, I think you've missed an important development of today's ways of collaborating and exchanging knowledge, right? Yeah. So that's the challenge. There is a need to adjust to it. And that challenge plays out very differently depending on seniority, age, cultural background. Some people are much more digitally minded and agile than others in their culture, in their professions, and all the rest. So we need to acknowledge that, and it takes a huge amount of effort to reach the tipping point where those who have doubts about the benefit see that actually it helps them in their work. So we have to invest that time to reach that tipping point. Once you're there, it's all down.
That's interesting. Do you find that digital literacy has been a hurdle for people joining the community of practice since you transitioned to an online environment, or a more advanced online environment, should I say?
No. In fact, what we see is that in many countries where these projects are run, the digital literacy is well advanced. People are very agile with working from mobiles and all the rest. So this is not the major challenge. I think there is the real challenge is that there is a proliferation of offering for knowledge exchange, and there are different channels, and some people want to mainstream of that. There should be only one. That's not the way it works, right? And so I mean, the challenge is being able to work with parallel channels and be satisfied that this is going to be the case, because this is how things evolve, right? Some people prefer to be on WhatsApp to exchange knowledge than log to a digital platform where they can upload and all the rest. Well, at some point you could say, well, no, come back to our community, or you can say, go for it, because what matters is knowledge exchange, right? Not the platform itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you got any specific examples of when learnings or connections within the FACS community have led to on-the-ground changes or moves towards more sustainable agricultural projects?
Well, I'm sure there are hundreds of them. Coming to mind, I think one of the community works in two ways, and you will see where I'm coming from. It works in a kind of a top-down approach where we provide best practice and tools and resources developed globally or proven to our members, all right? And so we draw their attention to something they may not have seen that matters. One of these things we are doing very strongly now at the moment is to draw the attention to the critical importance to work with systems change approaches, to work with understanding the deep nature of effective collaborative action among stakeholders. We push that content because we've seen that it's not happening very well on the ground.
Right.
And beside that, we respond to the specific needs of our members. So we survey their needs every year, and they want to talk about financing issue, they want to talk about agroecology, they want to talk about land use monitoring. So we shape the program to do that. And when we shape the program to respond to their needs, we have a stronger participation than when we push content that they may have a blind spot over. So that's the first thing. What we've done also is that we encourage South-South exchanges. So we've organized jurisdictional dialogue using the platform in Colombia and in Indonesia in parallel, and we've connected these two countries through the digital platform to learn, and there were a lot of learning happening. So it's quasi impossible to track the learning without creating a very cumbersome process for people to fill a questionnaire. Yeah. We survey that. We ask people the following question. Are there any practices you've changed in your work, having attended a learning event or being part of the community? 80% say yes. We ask them what, and they give us a number of examples every year. So we've got a list of practices. It can be about organizing much more participatory stakeholder engagement, and so on and so forth, right? So yes, it does. It's hard to track though. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds like that's a pretty good way to monitor and measure and adapt. In addition to your work with the FACS community and with FOLUR, you're also working on gender issues. Can you tell me a little bit about that work, please?
Yes, I mean, it's connected, but here it's more substantive, right? In terms of, well, I have a strong interest on gender issue, and not only in the food and agriculture space, but in general. And I've been interested to be the focal point and contribute to the FOLUR from that perspective, and notably to shift a little bit the conversation about what I would call the normative approach to gender, meaning pushing frameworks, instruments, that should be like this, there should be this, to a more instrumental thing to understand the business case for gender equality for companies and for different stakeholders. So I'm interested to take a more business-minded approach, and I'm doing this in other industry, and combine the two. The instrumental narrative and the normative narrative needs to happen in parallel. They haven't for many years. So I'm bringing that. And for FOLUR, I'm part of the Gender FOLUR Working Group, a co-moderator, and we've created a resource guide on gender equality for FOLUR to help country projects with all their gender needs. And so it's about bringing hundreds of resources that exist on gender issues and food systems issue, and summarizing them to help access. And that's ready. And we are also developing a gender learning program for the component of FOLUR on integrated landscape management, sustainable value chain, and restoration. So that's what we are doing. So I'm leading this work with colleagues in my team, and it's very interesting to the opportunity to transform practices by bringing a gender lens are immense. But sometimes the narrative, I think, is a little bit clumsy.
Right. Just a final question, which is more of a practical one. Who is the FACS community of practice open to?
Essentially, you would be most welcome to join the community if you consider yourself as a food system or an agricultural person working on food system and agriculture transformation. Whether you work for Global Headquarters, are an independent consultant, are an academics, are a civil society, a minister, an officer in the government, you're most welcome, or a private sector company. But we welcome everybody. Members can invite whoever they want. We screen every membership. Once you're in, it's a closed platform, so you need to be a member to see what's happening in the platform, and we control the growth on the basis of, and we ask people a few questions. What is your work? And the reason we want that, because we want to avoid being, spam with lots of commercial advertising being posted.
Yeah.
So that helps us keeping the focus of the community. Because if you're a community member and you go to the community 2 or 3 times a month, and 2 or 3 times you see nothing that relates to you, you're not coming back.
Absolutely.
So that's how we do. So it's open to food system, agricultural system practitioners and change makers.
Great. And how can people find out a bit more or, learn about this?
Well, I mean, you will go to FACS community online, you will find it. Yeah. We have a QR code on the table here, you can laminate. We have pre-registered 150 participants of this conference. 100 have already signed up, so we are chasing the 50 remainings. And essentially contact me or the team through the UNDP website or the Good Growth Partnership website.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk about the community of practice, and thank you.